All right, so what I want to demonstrate to you today is a feature of Appraisal Inbox that really differentiates us from some of our competitors and some other services out there is we have the ability to send webhooks. And what that is that's basically, if you're familiar with platforms like Zapier or Zapier, however you pronounce it, make.com, basically what a webhook is, it allows you to send data to third parties. So in Appraisal Inbox, for example, if you, whenever you create a new appraisal, want to send that to some other service that you might use, like maybe your Microsoft 365 Teams, or really anything you could dream of, you can do that with Appraisal Inbox. And so I have set up a demo today on how to do that, or just what's possible at least. We have some information on our website under support, guides, integrations, and webhooks on how to set up your webhook URL link. And I won't get into the details of that. Mainly, I just want to show off what's possible. And so, what I have here, and don't get too overwhelmed by this, this is a service that's not part of Appraisal Inbox, but one that I like a lot. It's similar to Zapier and Make.com and other services. And basically, you can think about this as a whole bunch of different paths. So, for example, if you have some certain actions that you want to have happen when you do things inside of Appraisal Inbox, you can do that. So, for example, when you create a new appraisal, you can send that through this path, and you can think of these lines as roads. In this particular path, we have it whenever you create a new appraisal, it grabs the address and figures out the market area and uses a little bit of AI, artificial intelligence magic to create a Google document that has a write-up of the market area. So it automatically should write up a market area report for you. So that's just one possibility here out of really thousands. And here's another example. So if you use Slack or you use Microsoft Team messages for your team, in this scenario, whenever we add a new appraisal, we send that message to Slack, to a Slack channel, so that your team can be notified that there's a new appraisal added to the system, and it links through to Appraisal Inbox. And then here's another example. We add the appraisal to a Microsoft 365 Excel spreadsheet, the online version. And then we have a couple other things that happen here. So whenever you add a new contact, like the owner of the property or the person you're meeting with for the inspection, you can actually, for example, sync that to your CRM or your contact system. In this case, we're syncing those people, that contact information, into Google, but it could be whichever one you prefer. That way, when you pick your phone up, your data will automatically be synced in, that contact data, so you can call that person. And then we have another path here that here we had a contact, and here we have a customer or a client. So whenever a new client is added inside of Appraisal Inbox, that customer automatically gets added to QuickBooks. So basically what this means is you can create your own custom workflows and save a bunch of double entry and ultimately save a bunch of time by automating your business. And so let's just jump right into an example of what that might look like. So what I'm going to do here is create a new appraisal. Click the add button here. So this is the standard way of adding an appraisal into Appraisal Inbox, one of several ways. This is what we call our smart form. So we're going to go ahead and type an address. So this particular property is an industrial property. So after I type the address, it's actually Appraisal Inbox is reaching out to public records to pull whatever information is available on that property. So it was able to automatically figure out the property type and match it up with the types in our system. So it automatically figured out that was industrial warehouse. So that saved you from having to go look that up yourself. And it also figured out the owners and a whole bunch of other things that aren't necessarily shown here. And so what this is doing is it's setting up contacts. So this is actually my mother and my father. So it's setting them up as contacts in the system as owners. And then let's say this order came from a new client. So you can select an existing client, but say it came through from a brand new client called Superbank. And you can add, we already have a Superbank. Let's call Amazing Bank. And let's create Amazing Bank as a new client. And let's say that Sally Anderson is the person you're in contact with at Amazing Bank. That's who ordered the appraisal from me. So let's just give her a fake email. So let's say that's Sally at amazingbank.biz. It's not a real address, but just as an example. So what we're doing here is creating a new client in the system and creating a new contact, which belongs to that client. So Save that. And then let's say this is for our refinance, I don't know, $2,000 quote. And let's say we already know who we're assigning this to. Let's say this is going to Lacey as the appraiser. And then let's create that appraisal in our system. So what's happened here is we created a new appraisal. We also created a brand new bank, a brand new client. We also created several contacts. So we have Sally Anderson, that is who works for Amazing Bank. We have Robert and Carol, those are owners of the property. So these people got set up as contacts in Appraisal Inbox. So those are all searchable. And then via the webhook integration, what should have happened, and we'll take a look here in a second, is this appraisal should have been added to the Excel spreadsheet. And it also should have been pushed to the Slack channel. And then it should have also created a market area write-up on Cumming, Georgia via AI. And it also should have added Amazing Bank to QuickBooks and added these contacts into Google Contacts. So let's take a look and see if that works. So first, let's take a look at Google Drive. And so based on this path here that we had set up, it should have created a market area write-up on Cumming, Georgia, and created a brand new Google Doc. And the ID of the document is the same ID as the appraisal. So you can see here that we have this 15 and you have this long number here. And in this Google Drive, you can see that it's the same number there. So let's click on that and open this document. And you can see here that this write-up here was created by AI or artificial intelligence simply by pulling out that it's Cumming, Georgia, and it pulled that out from the subject property address, and via a integration with ChatGPT, it was able to write up a little bit of an overview of Cumming, Georgia. And so that way you can have like a head start on your narrative reports for the market area. It should have also added that to this document here. So this is the online version of Excel. So it added that property here. You can see that ID, that same ID that started with 15. It added these rows here. So I set this up to sync it in. And whenever you update that appraisal order, so say you change the status from quote to in progress, that should also work. So the other integrations that we had set up, so we created that market view area overview using some AI. We added that order to Excel. We also sent that to Slack. So if your team uses Slack or something like that, or Microsoft Teams, you can see this order came through here. And then you can always open that order directly from Slack into Appraisal Inbox. So if your team has this open all day, they can see when a new order comes through that integration. So that's one example of what can be done. Another example is we added these contacts to your Google CR or our Google CRM. So it should have added Sally Anderson, Robert Persley, and Carol Persley. So let's take a look at Google Contacts. And like I mentioned, you can Google Contacts can sync into your phones, or you might use a different contact system and it should work more or less the same. So let's see if we can find Sally Anderson. Okay, so it looks like it successfully added Sally Anderson as a contact to our CRM contact system. And then let's see if Robert Persley. So it also added Robert Persley. And remember that these two people here came from public records when we originally added the order. So that automatically synced it into your contacts so that you can add a number and contact them later on to set up the site inspection or whatever you need to do. And then we also had this last integration here with QuickBooks. So you might use QuickBooks, you might use something else. What should have happened here is it should have added this new customer, Amazing Bank. So let's go to QuickBooks here. And let's refresh our customers page and see if Amazing Bank came through. And it looks like it did. So now you have Amazing Bank already in QuickBooks. You didn't have to manually add them. That all got added via the integration. And this is not the only type of thing you can do. There's really all sorts of integrations you can do. So if you use various like any other project management applications, any other document services, there's just really a ton of things that you can do with the webhook integration that can help automate your business and save you time. So if you have any questions on how to set stuff up, how to set webhooks up, how to create some of these flows, if you're interested in using N8N, let me know and I can help you set that up. But yeah, this is a way to extend Appraisal Inbox and basically create a really powerful and automated workflow for your company.